Thank you all for being here live, and thank you for everyone who's on the stream, whether on YouTube or on Facebook. Looks like we have a few viewers on Facebook. I can't tell about YouTube.
No, I can't see YouTube either, but
No.
But we're on Facebook and we see like 5 people. Hi Mark, hi Jen. 4 on YouTube.
Nice.
Y'all are awesome.
I think we have more parents than that, but
We
that's
for
okay.
sure have more parents than that, but
I
maybe
think
they'll
so.
just join us like in our intro stuff.
Yeah.
So should we get started, do you think?
Yeah, I do.
All right.
I'm Robbie Maida. I'm the high school pastor.
And I'm Darwin Grazer. I'm the middle school pastor.
Thank you all for joining us today. We're super excited. As you guys know, or probably know, I got hired in December of last year, and you got hired
In July of last year.
So this is like for both of us together as a team. We're excited to work together to just do a full run at a whole year together, and see what awesome thing God does this year in the lives of students. And so today our goal is to kind of show you guys where our heart is and where our vision is for the student ministries as a whole together, and just what some of our plans are for this coming year to try to see if we can live into that vision. So I'm going to pray for us, and then we'll dive in. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for who you are. Thank you for the chance that we, Darwin and I, get, and so many others get to invest in the kids here at the Grove, and even the kids that the kids here have influence on. God, it's just such a crucial age, so I pray that you work through us and you work through the parents to help these kids learn how to love you effectively in their lives and to grow up to be the next generation of the church. Father, I pray for this time and that it's beneficial for everyone, and it's in your name we pray. Amen. All right.
All right, so we're going to dive straight into it and talk about our vision for student ministries. And it really is to embody the church's vision as a whole. And so to reiterate that, it is to glorify God by making disciples of Jesus for the purpose of transforming our world. And we define a disciple as a follower of Jesus that helps others follow Jesus. So there are 3 main ways that we seek to achieve this vision, and they line up again with the churches, but we have our specific little student ministry tilt to them. So go ahead.
Yeah, the 3 from the church are connect, grow, and go, and so we have taken those and kind of given you guys just a little bit of what our hope is in each one of those. So for connect, our hope is that students would connect to God and the church by engaging in Sunday morning services, student ministry gatherings, and small groups. On an individual level, our hope is for them to connect to God through consistent personal devotions and prayer.
And then into the grow, our hope is that students will grow in their relationship with God through a vibrant connection to God and other believers, facilitated by dynamic teaching, small group discussions, and accountability with peers and mentored leaders.
And lastly, the go elements. So our hope is that students will see their schools, their sports teams, their jobs, their communities, their clubs, and even student ministry events as their opportunity to go. As students mature in their relationship with God, that they will also grow in their desire to share the hope of Jesus with everyone. And with those, we have just a few focuses, is what we're calling them, for this year on what our aim is and what we're kind of filtering some of our decisions through this year on how we're going to help the students live into the connect, grow, and go elements for the student ministry. So
the first focus, these aren't in really any order, but the first one that you see on the screen is to create an environment in which students can easily connect to their peers, leaders, and God, and grow in those relationships. So we want to focus on the environment that we are creating.
Yeah, and then we also want to teach students to see their schools and sports teams and jobs and communities and clubs. This is one of the things we already read, and all student ministry events as their opportunity to go. So this is not to say anything against like going to feed my starving children and all that kind of stuff. Like, we'll still do that sort of stuff, but we want a piece to click for them. Our hope and our focus is for them to see their whole life as a mission field. Like, they are called to ministry as a Christian is kind of the idea there.
Yeah. Next, we want to equip you as parents to be the primary disciplers of your children. We see your kids for a couple hours once a week. You see them a lot more than that, and you really are the primary disciplers of your children. So our job and our focus is to equip you, and we have some exciting things to announce as we go into this on how we can help you guys out as the primary disciplers.
Yeah, and then we also are wanting to encourage multi-generational fellowship and worship experiences because we believe that's important for kids after they get out of youth ministry. There's some not fun statistics about how many kids continue to stay in church and stay involved after they go to college and start their own lives. And one of the big factors is that they don't see where they fit into the life of adult worship. And so one of the things that we want to encourage on multiple levels is just multi-generational fellowship and worship experiences.
And then we want to help students see Christianity as a daily relationship, not just a weekly experience. It's not just going to church once a week or twice a week or whatever. It's a daily walk with Christ. So let's dive right into that, equipping parents and partnering with you as the parents, and ways that you can partner with us to really make this year, I think, super successful and exciting.
Super successful.
Super successful. So the first is to be in the know. So this is our way of, like, here's how to stay in touch and know what's going on, how we're going to communicate with you guys. So the first one.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys have been watching out for them, but once a month, we've already been doing this, we've been sending out, it's called the Leaflet. It's a once-a-month newsletter that contains a few different things, including what we're going to be doing for the next month, some different hot topics that we've been hearing, some wins that we've experienced from the month prior, and then it also, one of the things that I've always thought is cool that we started doing is we actually have like discussion points, a brief overview of what we talked about lesson-wise the month before, and then I call them thoughts for taking the conversation home, and you call them
just discussion points, basically.
It's just helpful tips for you guys to carry on what we're learning in youth group back home, and then the next month is detailed each week by week, and we are going to continue to do that for you guys.
Yeah, and if you're not getting these in your email, check your junk folder. Sometimes it gets flagged. You'll have to whitelist that sender. I know that sometimes I get spam, like the emails I send out go into my spam folder, so that's fun. But yeah, check your spam folder. We are sending them. Another way to stay in the know as parents, and this is also for the students, is to follow our Instagram accounts. Really, Instagram, we have found, and many researchers have found, is the best way to reach students where they're at, because they're still using it. I know that a lot of parents aren't, but students really are. So we'll be posting weekly updates, things like that, pictures. A while ago, we were doing challenges and stuff. They weren't super well received, so we probably won't be doing those all the time. But you know, we'll stay up to date, post on the story. If you've been following the high school one, Robbie's really been consistent about putting out what's happening each week for his summer stuff, and it'll look similar in the school year as well.
And if you're not a parent that uses Instagram, don't worry, because we also have Facebook. And Facebook, I know not all the parents are on Facebook, but Facebook is primarily designed for you guys because the kids don't really use Facebook, but the parents do. I know my parents do.
Yeah,
and I do sometimes, but
yeah,
you know,
and
so.
So anything that's posted on the Instagram will also be on the Facebook, but sometimes on the Facebook page we'll just do like parent-specific stuff.
There's another calendar we'll get to, but on the high school Facebook page, I even put all of our events are events on Facebook that you can find. You can put them in your calendar. And social media is pretty good as we can change things and announce things if things change. Like, oh, we had an event outside and it's pouring rain because it's Minnesota. Things like that. So
Right, yeah. It's another avenue to get out news quickly. So the more of these that you can follow and be a part of, the better. There are a few other ways as well. The online calendar gives you a general structure for when we'll be meeting each week and like what retreats and big events are coming up. So if you go to the calendar page on mygrovechurch.org, you can subscribe to it, and it actually adds it just right into your iCal or your Google Calendar, and it's really slick. And that isn't as like instantaneous updates, but it does give you a general idea.
And you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll get to this a little bit more, but we will be continuing to use YouTube as a means for staying connected for people that can't come live or in person, whether it's for a season or for whatever reason. YouTube will be a resource, and we have one more big one that we're really excited for.
Don't skip this one, though.
Oh.
You can always shoot us a text.
Yeah, that's not the big one. But
that's not the big one.
It is a big one, but you're welcome to text us.
Yeah, there's our numbers. We're posting them online for the world. Whoops, I just realized. Anyway, there's our numbers. If you want to take a picture of that screen there,
Let the spam calls come.
Yeah, we will also send out this as like a PDF or something handout, so you can get all these slides just.
So now the big one. Here's
now
the big
one. This
for
one's
this
really
year
exciting.
That we're really excited about.
Drum roll. That really hurt my finger.
I only have one hand.
Yep.
The Parent Q app.
Yeah.
Tell them about it.
So this is an app that's put out by a company called Orange, and it's called the Parent Q app. It's a free app on...
It's also the slickest way of communication, if you read the slides.
It's the slickest. The coolest thing about this is that it takes all of that stuff that we were telling you about in the leaflet and with texting and all that, and it puts it all together into one thing, and then it adds more on top of that. So there will be discussion guides posted every week on there that line up exactly with the lesson that we'll be going through that week. It gives you tips and tricks on how to specifically and intentionally pour into your kids at whatever age they're at. And then that one.
Yeah, so along with all that, so that stuff is really cool, and you'll basically get the chance to put in all of your ages. Like he even put in his 2 twin boys, which they're how old?
They're 2, yeah. So
and
you add your own kids, you keep track of what grade they're in, and you can put like little profile pictures for them or whatever, and then on our end, we can see like whose families are in there, and then we can organize them into their grades, or you organize them in the grades, and they just go like right into our thing.
Yeah, and so we're organizing it for middle and high age students. You'll be getting stuff from us directly, but even if you have kids that are younger, it's still helpful. It'll still give you tips and helpful tips on how to parent your children at different age stages. So it's pretty cool. Also, it allows for push notifications. So this is, again, something we'll be getting into a little bit more with our specific COVID update, but things have been so unpredictable. It's been crazy. I've never seen anything like it. No one has. Everyone says that when they talk about it, but like really, it's just like things change, right? So, or even last week we had a
completely
house party,
non-COVID
summer
related
event, and the house it was at had road construction last minute, and we were thinking about not having it because of the road construction, but I just knew it would be too impossible to communicate to all the parents that we were not having it. And so I decided went through with it, but like having a push notification system would give us the ability to text you guys, tell you guys stuff that's needed like that last minute, and it just be on your phone instead of you guys having to go find it somewhere on social media or whatever else.
Yeah, and this is better than just a group text, because it's not going to then connect you with every parent that is also in that group text, and then you get like a dozen thank yous or whatever. So this would just be a way of us communicating to you in a very quick and easy way.
So you guys download the app, enable push
Yes.
notifications, and our promise to you is to not overuse it.
Yeah, and it's super user-friendly. If you need a tutorial, we can also send you that, but it's pretty easy to walk through. You just make a quick account and then search for the Grove Church, link it up to our church. Make sure it's the one in Maple Grove, or it says Osseo, but whatever. Make sure that it's that one on Rice Lake Road, and then it'll link up to our stuff. One other way for you is
to be involved. So we obviously have historically had our small group leaders as basically the way for people to get involved with youth ministry, and we want more help moving forward. So we have some other specific needs that we are asking about. Some are a little bit more skilled, some of them not really at all. Like anyone could do it, right? Mm-hmm. So these are some of the ways. If you are interested in being involved on, even if it's only a few times throughout a semester or a year or whatever, let us know. And we would love to plug you in and have you help out and see what's going on. But they are
Snack Bar.
Watchdogs.
Should we explain that one?
Maybe.
Okay. Let's just do it in our fun alternating thing we tried. Okay, ready? Try again. Snack Bar.
Watchdogs.
Setup Crew.
Worship Team.
Tech Team.
Yeah.
Okay,
You guys get it. So Watchdogs we'll explain that one really quick. They're basically, we want a group of people that kind of roam around throughout the thing, or throughout the night, to help kids be in the right place and make sure people aren't there that shouldn't be there, is essentially the idea. So
yeah, and to set the tone, kind of be a welcoming presence on a ministry night. So yeah, Watchdogs. If you're interested, email
us, text us, let us know, talk to us afterwards.
Yeah.
Next.
Okay, this is our coded way of saying COVID-19 update, but this is really how we will be flexing in this season as things are, up in the air so often. The biggest thing we want to communicate is that we want to meet in person as much as possible. So there are some things that we just kind of have to do in order to make that possible. And one of those things is to require masks, just like Robbie is modeling his. Those are fine.
Mask Up, Minnesota.
These gator neck things are fine. And there's a whole variety of different masks that you can wear, and we are requiring them for our in-person gatherings. There are exceptions to that, and we're aware of those that are in the mandate for the masks. Things like being outside, or if it's water-based, or mental health reasons, physical health reasons. And we're going to trust that you're going to follow the mandate and have integrity with what you're saying. So we're not going to, prevent you from showing up if you can't wear a mask.
Correct.
And we're not going to press into that. We're just going to trust you on that one.
But we believe that meeting in person, or wearing masks, it's worth the trouble of wearing masks to still meet in person.
Correct.
It's just, you can't make up for it online, as I'm sure a lot of you guys know. So
Absolutely.
as long as we're able to, we'll do whatever the things we're supposed to do to make that possible, for your kids to be safe, but we want to be able to meet in person. So that's our number one goal during this season.
Yeah, and then most of our stuff will be planned with social distancing and spacing in mind. So things will be happening in larger areas or outside, or whenever possible, or in smaller groups whenever possible, like we've been doing this summer, basically.
But if you are not able to come for whatever reason, we will be continuing to live stream. So we will have a live stream option. There might be some parts of certain nights that won't be live streamable, or certain events that won't make sense. Obviously, if we go tubing or something again, you don't really live stream.
We're not going to make you watch a video of us tubing.
Maybe just one on Instagram. But
maybe on Instagram.
We will be live streaming the worship, the lessons, and we will even be trying to give options for kids that are staying home to zoom into their in-person small groups. So that one in particular, I would make a note of if you're a parent and you think your kid's going to be staying home, because it's not going to be super just accessible, that information, and we'll be setting it up as kids need it. So you'll need to take an onus to communicate with us to make that possible.
For the Zoom calls, yeah.
Because it takes a lot of resources to make that work, and it's a big ask for our small group leaders as well. So we want to make it accessible, but we need you guys to communicate with us if that's what you need. And then also we'll be having devotionals through YouVersion
Which is the Bible app,
yeah.
for those of you that don't know.
Yeah, so there'll be plenty of options for kids to still stay connected even if they're not able to come in person.
And then, as we've been saying, stay informed. We gave you all those ways to be in the know. Please, please, please take advantage of them. Snail mail just doesn't cut it in this season. So do download the app. Do text us if you have questions. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube. All that stuff. Stay in the know. Do your part to stay informed. And we'll do our part to keep you informed.
Yes. Next, so now we're going to get into some of the us stuff, right? So big things are coming up that we believe are going to help us live into some of our vision. And so this is our Changing Our Rhythm section. And so the big one that maybe you guys have heard, or maybe you've heard rumors of,
is
yeah,
middle school
and high school
are meeting on
Wednesday nights.
Yeah, so in the past, middle school has met on Sunday and high school has met on Monday. But now we're meeting together on Wednesdays, and we'll get into our whys in a moment. But on a regular basis, what that will look like is combined time for worship with middle schoolers and high schoolers worshiping together, some on the worship team and others in the audience, and then we will be splitting for the message. So there'll still be a middle school specific message and a high school specific message. They'll be well aligned, but they will be specifically geared toward that age.
Yeah, we also are, one of the rhythms that we're going to be in that will help with this new system is that we will be altering monthly off-campus activities to allow for each ministry to have the campus. That's not the primary reason. The reason why we're doing off-campus is they are a connect night, is what I was calling them last year, is more what they're intended for. So it's a good opportunity for your students to bring friends for the first time, or even if your students are not super involved right now, if they want to just come and hang out and not have to go to an awkward small group where they don't know anyone and talk about personal stuff about their life, because as much as that's good for them, we know that that can be really awkward and stressful. So instead, we're having once a month, we're going to have something that's meant to be fun and hang out with each other and build relational connection with each other, basically. And so that will be altering. So in a normal normal 4-week month, there will actually be only 2 weeks that both of us are on campus together, because 1 week I will be gone and he'll have it to himself, and another week he'll be gone and high school will be here alone. So that's what that's all about.
Yep, but it'll still be that Wednesday night time to block off, and on your end, getting here will be the primary goal, and then we'll go from there, basically. Then a benefit of being on Wednesday nights is it clears up the Sunday, so that Sunday afternoons after church happens, we can have things like SLT, which is our servant leader team meetings. We can also have small group leader meetings and trainings and parent forums. So our goal in the long run is to do each of these things monthly on a rotating basis. I don't know if we're totally there yet, I'm just being real, but that is our goal, and that is now an opportunity or an option because of our shift to the Wednesday night schedule.
And what we're doing right now gives a bad idea of what we mean by parent forum.
Yes.
Just
this
to
is
clarify
just informational, straight up.
So when we only have them once a year or twice a year, this is kind of what they're limited to, right? Is us catching you guys up on what's going on, what our plans are. It's a little bit more of a business meeting. And so we want to do more things like we did with Why am I blanking on their names? Sanborn.
Oh, Craig and Molly Sanborn,
Thank
yeah.
you. Who came and were able to give you guys some hopefully helpful training, or even just things that maybe we'll put on, but we plan on having that a little more regular. And since middle school is not meeting on Sunday nights, it gives both of us the freedom to be able to do that. So we're excited to be able to start doing that, and it also gives us a chance to better equip our small group leaders, which is also awesome. So,
Yeah. So why make this shift? We recognize that there is a lot of momentum and history behind the Sunday and Monday, but it's time. And so here are our reasons why we are switching to midweek, and there are many more if you want them, but these are kind of the main points. So the first one is that there are going to be now more touch points throughout the week. So in the past, we had a lot of front loading. So at the very beginning of the week, it would be a really busy day for middle schoolers. They'd go to church, come home for a few hours, come back, and then be gone, till they had to go to bed, basically, and then start their week up, and the whole week would just be a drain until the next Sunday, and repeat and repeat. And similar type thing with high school on Mondays. It was the beginning of the week and just...
yeah, Mondays tend to get away from all of us. I don't know if you guys can relate to that, but Mondays are kind of a hard day to have a big thing that you're supposed to be focused at and engaged in for a student. But also we want to kind of spread out the fill up, if you will. So instead of kind of filling them up only on Sunday and Monday at the beginning of the week, we want to give them a chance midway. And then this next one is one that I'm fairly passionate about, but it encourages commitment to a local body as well. So one of the big things that I think even my generation, and it's getting more and more difficult with other generations, is this inability to kind of commit to a place and a group of people. And I think it's really important. I think we're called to love each other in such a way in community at a church that we get to emulate God a little bit, because the gospel is shown in that God fully knows us and loves us. And so we get to experience that on a small community when we are fully known. But if we're not body, that can't happen. The commitment to a local body, not because we're like, come to us. In fact, even if they end up more committed to a different group because we're now on the same night as that other group and they can only go to one, that's a win for me. So it's not about making sure they come to our group. It's I want them to be, and so I don't moving it on to the night that most youth groups are.
Yep, and that most youth groups are, it's a lot easier to invite friends. We actually had a conversation early last week with some students, and they were like, every time I invite my friend to a Monday night thing, they're like, what? Your youth group is on a Monday? So this just aligns with almost everyone else. So it can be a lot easier to fill that up. Also with like school stuff, a lot of schools are a lot more flexible on Wednesdays. I know there are activities and sports and things that still happen on Wednesdays, but as a teacher, I've looked at teacher contracts, and usually they're not supposed to be planning things for Wednesdays or they're supposed to give flexibility on Wednesdays specifically, because it's still seen as like a church night. So if you need a letter or something from us, we can definitely craft that and give that to your student so they can, show up and get out of their commitment for that night. There we go.
You got it. It also, so with that, so consistency across season, Sunday morning involvement we already talked about, and also the fewer conflicts with weekend activities. So those kind of go together to me. Whether it's, a 3-day weekend, so you as a family want to take advantage with, happens quite a bit. Even this last semester, anytime there was a Monday holiday, I was encouraged, though I decided to not do it, to not have youth group on those nights. But I was like, there's probably only like 2 or 3 kids that are actually gone. Like, I'm going to have something for them. But that won't be a problem anymore because we'll be on Wednesday.
Yeah, it also, for middle school, there were times, if it was a weekend retreat or an all-church worship night, things like that were on a Sunday, we just couldn't meet. And so there are now fewer conflicts, like none on a Wednesday.
Which is exciting.
Which is super exciting.
We get to see the kids
We're going to
more.
see you guys a lot more. That's the touch points. That's the very first one. And then also, like we said, there's opportunities now for more volunteers for security, atmosphere setting, things of that nature. You as parents and others as they volunteer.
So the next why is why combined.
Yeah.
So we get to combine resources, one of the big ones. So that comes out in multiple things. So two brains are better than one. Darwin and I happen to work really well together. We're two very different people with different outlooks on things. Sometimes we don't really agree on it exactly, but usually the result is something much better than what one of us would have come up with. And so we believe that's really important, which is why we're excited to be crossing paths so often and to be helping each other out. It also gives him and I more relational bandwidth. So we are really committed to creating more relationship within the group and connecting the students in that way, and investing in our small group leaders and in you guys. And this takes away a little bit of some of the executive functions of a youth pastor, some of the behind the scenes planning, because we're now doing one night together, which gives us a little bit more time for relational ministry. And then also the big one for resources is high school had the luxury of having worship every single Monday night, but
Live worship. Yeah.
Middle school had it once a month.
Just about, yeah. I think we got to twice at some point, but
Yeah.
once or twice a month.
So we're super excited to be able to have live worship for both groups now. That's one of the big wins, I think.
Yeah, totally. And with that, I mean, that the worship part is connected to this next one too, but it's just across all ages. There can be cross-pollination. So, there can be a 6th grader that looks up to an 11th grader because they see how engaged in worship they are, or they see how they're up here on the servant leader team doing something, and that gives them a really good example to follow. It just creates that multi-generational aspect within our ministry in addition to beyond our ministry.
Yeah, also it's one night for you guys. So if you have a junior high student and middle school and a high school student, you are on one night. So it's one drop-off point, there's middle school ends a little bit sooner, but it's not a crazy difference, and there'll be options for those kids to hang out if you want to just wait until the high school student's done, stuff like that. So,
yeah. And then it gives us more options for freshness and variety. So we, again, our two brains can come up with some really cool ideas, but also with being off campus one of the weeks, intentionally off campus, we can do a whole variety of new and fun and fresh stuff. And also, there can be times where we combine for the whole night if we really felt that was necessary. Like our Christmas party, that's our plan, is to be totally combined. So there's just more options.
And you can do a Christmas lesson combined across all those ages, and it should be age appropriate.
Right.
So during those ones, that'll be fun to do together. And then also, this is a big one because just with the way our church in particular has been with a very, very, very dynamic middle school ministry and a good high school ministry. And now we're trying to figure out, we've had a lot of drop-off in our high school because the middle school is so engaging, it's so good, and high school has been less so historically. And so we are excited to start building a unified approach that there's still going to be different feels. I mean, Darwin and I, like I said, are very different people. It's still going to be different, but there's going to be a lot more consistency and hopefully bridge some of that drop-off that happens from 8th to 9th grade and even through the freshman year of high school is one of the big wins too.
Yeah, and one of those ways, another way of consistency that I just realized we didn't put on there, but with the servant leader team, now it is an opportunity. I am really struggling with going off the cuff here. It's an option now to serve as an 8th grader, a 9th grader, 10th grader, all the way up. So there's no longer like you're a leader in 8th grade and then suddenly you're a freshman and you're just back to being a student and then you can lead. It's designed now to be a progression across the grades. And so that is now possible by combining our ministry nights.
All right, so that's most of the stuff we have to share right now. If you guys want to talk later, we can talk more about why Wednesday, whatever it is. But next we got just a few events, and then we are going to open it up to some questions for a little bit.
Yeah. And we'll send out information about like specific times and how the night will actually look in a later date. But these are the dates and the events that are big for the fall coming up. So our kickoff is going to be Wednesday, September 16th, and that's going to be a combined. That'll be a combined middle school and high school activity. And then, let's see, they're looking on the bottom, the middle school Camp Chaminade Fall Fling. We will be going on October 23rd through 25th. And that's going to be a really good time. I'm hopeful that still happens. Everything is up in the air, but we're planning as if we can. And then September 16th will be our middle school and high school combined Christmas party. And then a winter kickoff will be on January 6th.
So that means we will not have youth group in between those two dates?
Correct, yeah. There's a Christmas break in there.
That's
two
why
they're
bookends
there.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
And then lastly is we will get in somewhere unless COVID stops us for our high school retreat, but stay tuned for some more information on that. We're looking into a few different options for that.
Yeah, and you're looking into either fall or winter, right?
Yes.
Okay. So somewhere in there, in that season. And just off the cuff again,
I like it.
The current time that we're planning. Should I tell them just times?
I thought we put that in here.
I thought we
should have.
We should have.
I'm sorry, guys.
Our ministry night will be 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. for middle school.
8:45 for me.
And then 6:30 to 8:45 for high school. And the reason behind that is to give a little more discussion time in those small groups for the high schoolers because they can handle it more. If it's a middle schooler that has like a high school sibling, we'll have things going on between 8:30 to 8:45 to keep them, engaged and like just hangout time, basically, games and stuff set up.
And those are the official programmed start and end times, but then
there will be some hangout time scheduled before and after, and
what will we have going on before for them?
Do we want to get into that? Okay, we can get into that.
Just
so some of the things that will be going on beforehand, we're going to have a snack bar that will be open. We know that it is a weeknight, and we know that there are activities that happen up until basically 6:30, or close to that. So we want to make it an option to pick up some, slices of pizza when you get here.
It may not be the healthiest option.
Yeah,
but there will be an option for food.
There will be some food options so that you can show up and be here and fully, not
that will be
focus on your grumbly tumbly.
Basically at cost for us. So we're not giving it away for free, but we're also not charging a ton for it.
Yeah,
a cheap
couple dollars or less.
Whatever it is.
So there will be that option,
and there'll be games set up beforehand. We have the kids love playing the Gaga ball or spike ball, whatever, basketball, different things like that just going on. So they'll be open. The snack bar will be having open by 5:15. So, like I said, we want to build an environment that's relational friendly. And so we just want the option for kids to come and hang out. Even if they want to bring some of their homework, we plan on having a few different rooms open. So if they would need a little quiet space and they just want to be around people, come on over, we'll be there, and we'll have games set up. And then after work, is it 9? Is that what we're saying?
9 is when we're kicking people out.
Yeah.
So if they're
so that our wives still like us.
Yeah, we want to get home and go to sleep. So, Yeah, 9 is when we kick people out, but in between 8:30, 8:45 to 9, there'll be some hangout time scheduled in there as well. So the night can be long or it can be condensed, but we really want to make sure that that we are scheduling in and being intentional about that time and making it possible to get here when you can. That snack bar and stuff that we were talking about, those would be great opportunities, again, for you as parents if you want to be volunteering and be a part of that. That's a really awesome opportunity there.
All right.
Okay,
We should go to this.
let's do it.
So,
We know that there are people here, and we know that there are people online watching. Holy smokes, are you texting me in the back? Okay. So if you have questions for us, you can text us.
you're texting me. That's my number.
Yeah, text Robbie. Or if you are here, you can come up to that microphone there. We only put the microphone there so that people online can hear your question, and we don't want to like embarrass you or anything. You won't be on camera, I promise. One question already that I see is, will there be a recap of this online after the call? Yes, we will. This will just get posted right after we're done streaming, so you can go backwards and watch it from the beginning.
And we'll also have the information available too.
And we'll
you wanna read.
turn this into a PDF of all the slides you just saw, so you can get those as well. Any other questions? Yeah, if you've got one, go ahead.
Hey guys, thanks for having this.
1 second. Is it on?
Hey guys, thanks for having this. Can you talk a little bit about, you said 6:30 to 8:30. Can you talk about how you break that up with group time and small groups and whatnot? And then also after that, could you talk about, do you have like a focus for the year or anything planned out on like what you want to cover with the students this year or anything like that?
Yeah. We have all of that. Yeah. Let me pull up our little document here so I can actually tell you exact times.
So the general breakdown of time, I think I basically got that. So what will happen on a regular night, so again, and this is one of the reasons why we're recruiting for the watchdog thing, is because some nights might be a little bit different than other nights based off of what we can do with the facilities, whatever else. But the general flow of the night is going to be a little bit of hangout time, followed up by everyone meeting here in the worship center. And we will do like any announcements we have. We'll welcome everyone.
All combined.
We might do like a little stage game, and then we'll do worship. And then we will break up. Both groups will leave here. The high schoolers will go into the community room, and the middle schoolers, will go into the youth room, which is, next to the kitchen.
Room 110 officially.
Yeah. And then we will basically be using the whole facility for small groups. So we'll break out from there. So from middle schoolers will break out after the lesson, go to their different rooms, and then the high schoolers will also. And then afterwards, the community room will be open again, and that's where they can congregate as small groups dismiss and hang out afterwards. Is the flow of the night? Does that answer it?
Yeah, yep. You kind of got it. So it would be 6:30 is the official start, 10 minutes of start of hangout time. 6:40 is when these worship center doors will open. People will come in. We'll have about 10 minutes of announcements, 15 minutes of a stage game, about 20 minutes of worship. Then we'll go downstairs to our 2 separate locations. We'll have about 15 to 20 minutes of a lesson. And then, so our goal is to be teaching by 7:45 every night, and then dismiss for groups by 8 o'clock, 8:05, and then we'll have half an hour of
And
small group
45 for
times
me.
and 45 minutes for, half an hour for me, 45 for him, and then kick him out by 9 o'clock. Yeah, so it's all, we didn't really put that on a slide because that's just overwhelming. Like this thing we're looking at right now, we made it really complicated for ourselves. But good question. And then as far as the scope and cycle, if you will, that's what we call it. So as far as what we're going to be focusing on, the first series that we're going to be going into is a series about reading the Bible. And so actually focusing on the point of reading the Bible, why we read it, and getting to know like how the Bible's written and why you read it. And then we'll be talking about, we'll have some one-off lessons about like arguing and just hot topics that are going on. And then a Christmas lesson, and then and then a lesson in January about emotions. And then the end of January, beginning of February is going to be a relationship month again. We'll get that focus on sex and relationships. Again, you'll be part of this as parents, totally into it and involved in it. And then an Easter series and some other faith skills, things like serving and actually, growing in your faith. And how do you hear from God? How do you pray? How do you talk? How do you talk to God? How do you live for God? And that pretty much rounds out our year. So it's that's like all 12 months right there.
Yeah. So we are we're gonna try it out.
We're gonna try it out
this year. And so being with having so many new things going on, I want to make sure we do them well. We've decided to fall in line with a lot of youth pastors, and we're using a curriculum that kind of helps us with the whole sequencing of not just this year, but if we stay with it, if we like it. They do a 3-year cycle, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's meant to cover everything, and they even have stuff come up pretty quickly and put together things as other events happen. So like people that were using this over the last 6 months had some stuff come out that was very appropriate for COVID, and then also the different things going on here in Minneapolis.
Mm-hmm. So if you watched the live streams for middle school, the Easter series that I did online came straight from this curriculum. It's called Orange Curriculum XP3. And it lines up with the app. It lines up with the, it lines up with the app, and it lines up across middle and high so that we're going at the appropriate age level and stuff like that. And it's all customizable. We'll definitely be adjusting it for ourselves. But yeah, it's just a way of making sure that we're staying on a consistent scope and being aligned across it. That's how we can tell you the entire year right there.
Yeah, so that'll be pretty accessible if you guys have more questions about that.
Yeah.
Like he said too, the way me and him both are, we'll probably be like taking the general idea of their curriculum and then building our own lessons off of it. I every time I've used curriculum, that's what I've done. So it'll still be me and him teaching your students.
Yeah.
We'll just be getting some help on where to go and helping direct us. So I had a question texted to me. I had two, but one of them, Andy, I won't read, but the one I will read is, I wanted to know basically what will we do if a stay-at-home order is reissued?
Oh, yeah, I just saw that one on Facebook too.
So that's a great question. We meant to hit that on the COVID slide actually, but we didn't say it, so thank you for bringing that up. Basically, we'll just pivot back online. We'll already have this time, we'll have the experience of doing it once with some lessons learned and some various things like that, but also we'll be already streaming every week. Probably, hopefully, not a lot of people are watching it because they're here, but we'll already be streaming every week. And so we'll already have the system set up and ready to go. We'll just move it online, and then we'll start doing the Zoom for small groups again.
Yep. Yeah. Good questions. Oh, that was the one we just answered.
Any other questions?
Okay.
All right. Well,
That's
this is not your last chance to ask us questions.
Nope.
But it is a good chance for others that might have the same questions but didn't even know it to hear the answer. But
yeah,
I think we're good.
Yeah, so Noah, if you want to put that screen, or Kendra, back up on the live stream. This is the questions one with the number. This is Robbie's number. There you go. This is Robbie's number. If you need to shoot him a text, he can answer them. My number was on a previous slide, but that one's already there, so don't text me, I guess. No, you
I
can text
give you
me.
his number.
Yeah, you can text, you can call, you can email. We are here for you, and we want to make sure that you are well-informed and in the know. I'm glad Mark is excited for the changes this year. That's awesome. Yeah, so as you come up with them, let us know your questions. And that's really what we wanted to communicate to you guys and get our heart across for this coming year. We're really excited about the big changes. And we acknowledge, yes, changes can be scary. Changes can be, it's a change to your schedule. It's a change to your routine, things like that. We want to give you enough time to make those appropriate plans. So that's why we're like a month in advance. Hopefully that's going to help you out. And as things continue to be unexpected and stuff like that, we just ask that you continue to be adaptable. You've been awesome throughout this whole season, and it's been super encouraging to me and to Robbie as people have just continued to engage in the live streams, and then when we were able to have been able to meet in person this summer. It's been really encouraging, and we're excited that you're sticking around. So keep that adaptability, keep that that mindset as we go into this year, because there's lots and lots that we're intentionally changing, and lots that might just change by the nature of the season we're in. Anything else?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Do you want to close us out? Or you opened us, maybe I should.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. All right,
Take
so
us
I'm going to
home.
close us out in prayer, and then we'll be on our way. Heavenly Father, thank you for every parent that came to watch us, and whether it's in person or online, we are grateful for the technology to make it possible. Thank you that Robbie and I can work together so well, and we have come up with what we really believe is going to be a great plan for this coming school year. We're excited to see how you move in both of our ministries and in just students' lives in general. We love you, and thank you for who you are and all that you do for us. In Jesus' name, amen.
All right, thanks for coming again.
All right.
Adios. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
You're welcome. Thank you.